Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be going into how exactly Minecraft accounts values are appraised so that after this video, pretty much anybody can figure out what is the reasoning behind the trading value of Minecraft accounts or buying OG usernames. So yeah, let's get into it. Just a quick reminder before we get into things, only 21% of you guys are subscribed, so make sure that if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy learning more about Minecraft history, Skyblock, or OG videos, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe below. Also, just a quick warning, I did this in my last video, and I feel like it's a pretty good thing to just keep doing. So obviously, a lot of the things that I'm talking about in this video violate Minecraft's end user license agreement, so this video is solely for educational purposes. I do not advise any of you to actually follow through on some of these things, but of course these things are happening, so we want to stay educated on that. So without further ado, let's learn the 3 factors that affect value when appraising a Minecraft account. An OG account is automatically going to sell for more than a semi or non-OG. So I have an entire video on what makes a username OG or not, so I'll link that in the description if you guys want to check that out. But essentially not all OGs are valued in the same way. In general, shorter OGs are going to be worth more than longer OGs. So like an OG that's 3 to 5 letters is probably going to be worth more on average than an OG that's like 8 to 10 letters, and so on and so forth. So for example, egg, which I know in game, that's going to be worth probably more than scrambled. And in general, more common words are going to be worth more than less common words. So dog is definitely going to be worth more than believer. Now, how long an OG is and how common the word definitely affects its selling price, but the most valuable OGs that time and again sell for the most are invalid usernames like the number 8 or the letter G. When we're looking at actual prices for these accounts, it can vary widely depending on personal preference. So it's hard to fit an exact value on, X, Y, and Z. But I looked through about 100 account purchases, and I've noticed a general trend that I'm just going to make you guys aware of. So on average, 6 to 16 character names are going to be selling for anywhere in between $100 to $500. We do see some accounts selling for under $100, but generally $100 is pretty a good starting value. And then over $500, you don't see a lot, but there are a few exceptions. On average, 3 to 5 character names are going to be selling for anywhere in between $300 to $1,000. And then on average, those invalid usernames for like 1 or 2 characters, while there aren't many purchases of these accounts because they're obviously really, really rare, the ones that I did see are going for anywhere in between $1,000 to $2,000 over the past few months. So of course, these are just averages. So there are many examples of, for example, 6 to 16 character names like the word universe or the word Apollo, which is also, just a side note, really dope name. I wish I would have grabbed Apollo when it was available. But both of those accounts, which obviously have capes on them, are selling for thousands of dollars. And speaking of capes, moving on to factor number 2, capes on accounts are a huge source of value. In fact, some people in the community really value capes over the actual name on an account. So if you need to learn more about Minecraft capes and what's out there, I also have an entire video dedicated to that. Just gonna give another self plug. It'll be similarly linked down in the description for you guys to check out. But generally speaking, the first cape on an account is going to cost about $250. Now, some less desirable, more recent capes, like the 2016 Minecon cape, is gonna sell probably for less. But in general, when you're talking about averages, it's around $250 for a account with a Minecon cape on it. Now, with each additional cape, you're gonna probably add about $500 in value because there aren't a lot of accounts out there that have multiple Minecon capes on them. And of course, there is no way to redeem capes anymore. So once you start adding a second, a third, a fourth, or even a 5th cape, you're gonna be adding a lot of value to an account. So, for example, an account with all 5 Minecon capes on it is going to be roughly valued around $2,250. But of course, we're talking about averages. It's potentially more or less depending on factors like the name on the account, the demand for that sort of thing, etc. And finally, factor number 3. Now, it's pretty common knowledge. We've all heard the saying supply and demand, and of course it applies to OG accounts as well. Because just one account can have a username, if there are high offers or sales previously on the account or that username, it will definitely raise the value of that account. Now, many accounts are flipped, which I could make a whole another video about people who flip capes or flip accounts. But like I said, many accounts are flipped by players, meaning they buy for a certain price and then sell for a higher price. So like if you've ever heard about flipping houses, where people buy really ugly houses and renovate them into something really desirable, it's kind of the same idea, except you buy an account, don't really do anything with it, sit on it for a year, and then sell it when you know the entire market has increased in price. And like over time, OGs have just continually increased in price. So flipping is actually like a pretty good way that some people are making money. But again, that's like a whole nother video. Now, the initial sale price acts as sort of the base. So like what you buy an account in 2016, that's kind of the base price that account can generally be valued at from now onward. And then that can be referenced when attempting to sell it at a higher price. So a thing that a lot of people do, they'll buy an account for like $100, and then a year or two down the line, they'll be like, okay, this account is now worth $175 or $200, and sell it at that higher price. That's it. You all know now how Minecraft OG accounts are appraised. Just remember that prices will vary fairly substantially based on personal opinions and perspectives, just like, you know, a Toyota is going to be a different value to different people, even though it sells for the same price. You know, that's really something to keep in mind, that although this video is a really good guide for what prices are generally on average, and I feel like I'm like a dead drum just repeating on average, on average, on average. But you know, different things are worth different amounts to different people. Now, you may have gotten to the end of this video and being like, yo, what is the thumbnail about? Or maybe you're also wondering, what is the highest valuation ever given to an account? Now, again, a valuation is not a sale. So sales and valuations are two different things. A valuation is just what someone who has a lot of knowledge, they will, you know, look at an account and be like, I estimate that this could sell for X. And a sale is what an account actually sells for in value. And those questions actually go hand in hand. So the thumbnail is actually the highest valuation that was ever given to an account. Now that account is Mark, which is owned by a Mojang employee, and it was recently valued at nearly $12,000. Now this is because it is an OG, of course. It's literally 4 letters that spell out a very common name. And it has 10 capes, which is the most of any account in Minecraft. And of course, it has some extremely rare capes in addition to 5 Minecon capes. It also has a Mojang employee cape, among other rare capes, which is extremely, extremely, extremely hard to find, and especially hard to purchase. Now, as I've touched on in previous videos, Minecraft transaction IDs are super important when buying and selling accounts. It's something that you definitely need to be aware of. So that will be my next video in my OG series that I'm doing. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. And until my next video, deuces.
Backlash written on me, card rubbing on a dashboard. I've been ballin', free my lady singing, calling now. I'm already out, already on the countdown. I'ma set it right.